The WOW Foundation United Volleyball Club has been doing very well since the start of the season. They recently finished third in the junior knockout and now they're preparing for the first division season. I have with me three outstanding youngsters from the club who will be trying their hand at the first division level. I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves and then we will have a conversation with these three young gentlemen.
Hey, good night. My name is Kadeem Morris, and the position I play is middle blocker.
Yeah, good night. My name is Henry Clark, and I play right side and left side.
Hey, good night. My name is Johnny Lane, and I play setter.
Gentlemen, you've introduced yourself, you've introduced your positions. What can we expect from your club, the foundation, the WOW Foundation United Volleyball Club, at the start of the first division? We mentioned in our introduction that you guys would have been third in the junior knockout bits. All three of you also took part in. Starting with you, Kadeem, what do you think would be your contribution for the season in the first division?
I believe that my contribution would be a reliable player who is able to perform basically at any position I'm put at. I try not to have myself, or try not to make myself secluded to one position at a time. So my aim and my goal is to be a reliable player.
Henri, you have heard Kadeem. What about you?
As everyone know in the club, I'm the motivational guy. I think it's right, yeah? Right. So a lot of people, a lot of the players and coaches look up to me to pull the team and stuff like that together, and I looking to continue doing that and performing during the season.
No, Johnny, you are what we will call the engine room of the team. You're the setter. You're the person who calls the plays. You're the person who makes sure that ball goes up there for these two guys to hit the ball. What about you? What do you think that your major role would have to be?
As the first choice setter, my job will be to keep the team motivated and keep the stats consistent for the guys to hit the ball properly. I also need to make sure that my guys are consistent hitting the ball. Yeah, right.
A consistent process.
No,
That's what you do.
I said also that your guys would have taken part in the knockout where you placed third. Starting with you, Henri, coming into the knockout, the guys would have been saying they wanted to do well and so forth. Tell me, what game would you think that you would have been outstanding in, and then also what you think that you would have been the outstanding player in that game?
The most outstanding games I would say I had would probably be Deacons. I chose Deacons as the first one because one of our key attackers were unable to make the game. And so I had to step up and play my role, and everyone agreed I played my role in that game. So yeah, that would be the first game. The second game would be the club. Yeah, the club, we had a really good game. Last and final, Hit Road. Yeah, Hit Road was the third and final game that I actually performed. But the rest, me personally, I don't think I need to hear it from the coaches, although I heard it, but I underperformed in a lot, even semi-finals. Yeah, but those are the three main games that I believe I performing throughout the season.
Kadeem, you're the most senior player among the three of you. Tell us, how do you think the season went? What do you think that you guys need to do in order to be more impressive for the coming first division season?
I think the season was pretty slow for us. We had an extremely slow start, but performance-wise, we performed pretty good, but it wasn't a consistent performance. That's the problem. And another thing I think that the team can heavily work on is our ground defense and just being consistent in our overall play. Once we can get that done, we will actually perform how we were meant to perform.
Johnny, as I said, you're the engine room. What do you think needs to be done?
I think the guys need to keep up the consistent passing because, as proven in the last game, the guys definitely can pass. In other games, the passing was a bit down, but they proved that they can pass. Also, serving. You need to have an effective serve in order to beat the teams in first division.
Guys, my final question to all three of you. We've spoken about how well your guys would have played to be third couple days ago against the University, the West Indies. Looking at that game, Johnny was probably the outstanding player in that game, putting up some very good sets. Johnny, tell us about that game from your role and any other thing, any other the guys that you thought that really was outstanding.
Yeah, the guys passed very consistently that game, as I said before. That's why it was able to put up great sets, and my middle attackers did their job. It was just an overall consistent game from everybody. Everybody served, passed, everything was consistent, and that's why we won the game. There's nothing else to add to that besides the guys were consistent compared to other games. So for that reason, I'm the MVP is because of the guys. They were the reason that I was able to put up these good stats and become the MVP.
And just one last question to you guys. 30 seconds each. Where would you want to see the WOW Foundation United Volleyball Club within the next year or two? The club has some very young players who are very competitive. Kadeem, you are the senior person here at the table. You'll start it off.
I think to answer your question, I would like to see the club in a very high place in Barbados very soon. Not within the next couple of years, just very soon. That's all. You can second that?
For sure.
Nice.
And another thing I want to add to that too is that I would like us to be back-to-back winners, consistent winners for years and years, not just a period amount of time, not a 1 year, 1.5 year, consistent. Yeah, consistent titles overall this season.
Yeah, I second what Ari said. I want the guys to be consistently winning championships and titles for years to come, and that's about it, to be honest.
Well, there you have it. 3 wonderful young gentlemen, 3 outstanding players from the WOW Foundation United Volleyball Club, telling you all over the world about their expectations for the first division and reviewing how the club would have done so far for the year.
Ciao!